What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Show back with another video, man. Today I want to talk about, just real quick, I want to talk about why I skipped over Soul Hackers 2. How it was like basically my most anticipated game of this year. I ain't gonna say most because I am still waiting for Pokemon and some other stuff to come out. But specifically why I skipped over this game, even though I'm such a big Atlas fan. First I want to say, to the people that are actually out there playing the game, let me know personally. Let me know. No reviews, no nothing, no outside information. Let me know how you guys are feeling about the game. You know, let me know if it's something that you feel like people would generally enjoy and the reviews are not doing enough credit for it. All right, man, let's get into the video. Now, first of all, I want to say my history with Atlas goes back like a couple years, so around like the PSP era, like PSP Vita era. And for me specifically, I played Persona 4 first, and then I went back to play Persona 3. I tried Persona 1 and 2, but they weren't really my style. They was a little bit dated. And then eventually, you know, when the mega hit came out, Persona 5, I played it. I have some other histories because we're not just talking about Persona. Obviously, don't get me wrong. Persona is a big reason why this game is not doing as well as it could have been. But we're talking about the whole Megami franchise as a whole. Now, some other games I've played. I've played the Idol game, which I think is made by them. I think it's called Tokyo Mirage. I played that. I played Persona Strikers, Dancing All Night. Played a couple of those. Not really to completion, but I've definitely played them. I played Persona Arena Ultimax. I played a couple of the Shin Megami games. I originally started with Nocturne, but I honestly couldn't get into it, so I kind of dropped it. Only for me to really love SMT5 for some reason. So I was really getting into that. So obviously when they announced that Soul Hackers was going to be coming out and it was going to be coming out after Xenoblade, I thought to myself, hey, this is something that you definitely need to play. Because, I mean, hey, for one, you know, by this time you should be slowing down on Xenoblade, you know, should be kind of getting off of that by now. Soul Hackers is going to come and then basically going to drag you all the way until like maybe Pokemon or some other games come out, like God of War and stuff. But for me, man, I had to look at the reviews. Now, normally I'm a person that I like to preach that I don't like looking at reviews in terms of like buying games, but over the years I have been so jaded and it has basically warped my personality in a sense that now I feel like I have no choice but to look at reviews and look at how people are enjoying the game. Because generally when I play on an RPG, all right, so two things go hand in hand with that. For one, I've played a lot of good JRPGs over the years, like a lot. Like, I mean, Yakuza 7, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, Dragon Quest 11, Persona 5, SMT 5, you pretty much name it. So the reason why I say I'm a little bit jaded when it comes to that is because I have gotten to a point where I'm a little pretentious. I'm not gonna lie. It's hard for me at this point after playing so many games. There's a lot more games than I've mentioned, like a lot more. But nonetheless, it's really hard for me to sit and try to get through a meteor JRPG. So when I'm spending my money on something, I try to really get some in-depth reviews simply because I don't want to be disappointed in my purchase. And that goes to reason number 2 of why I am jaded in terms of like buying video games. A lot of video games that I've bought have come out as incomplete mess. Like I went out on a limb and I bought Dying Light 2. Now let's go past that, but way before that, let's talk about Cyberpunk. Obviously Cyberpunk is a real big issue when it came out. It was really broken. It was nowhere near fixed, so being finished to be fixed. It just had a lot of different problems. Now, to the game company's credit, they did, you know, fix it a lot later on, and it ended up being interesting game to play. And for me, I did get my money back on that, so I'm not really upset. Then to, you know, be really excited for Dying Light 2, only for it to be coming out as a broken mess. Not to even mention Saints Row, New Saints Row, which is just like, it just seems like at this point, games are going to come out broken. They're going to just promise you that they're going to fix it, but they're going to come out broken, and that's going to be what it's going to be. And I get that. I get that. It can be kind of hard. No, I don't actually. I feel like if you are making your game, I can see if there's little glitches that, in terms of like maybe 1 or 2 glitches where the game, it doesn't really affect gameplay that much, but it's just like a cosmetic glitch here and there. But to have your whole game basically unplayable through glitches, I've had so many of these games drop day one that are very not polished and are very glitchy. And that causes a strain on my love for gaming, you know, because if I can't get a game that's finished, what's the point even buying it? Like, I want to be able to look at reviews and see if a game is lagging or has glitch issues, or whatever the situation may be, I should be able to look at reviewers and kind of see the general consensus of this game. So both of those reasons together, this game's coming out broken and playing a high level of great JRPGs has basically put me in a box where I had to start looking at, I had to do a little bit of research before I want to spend my hard-earned money. I mean, I like doing YouTube, but I make no money from it, so every game I buy is out of pocket, so it has to be something I really want to play. And this brings me to the whole point of Soul Hackers 2. Now, when I was watching reviews for it and watching people's videos talking about how bad it was, not necessarily it was bad. The general consensus for Soul Hackers is that it is definitely not a bad game. It's not a great game. It is an okay game that you can have a general good experience with, and it's pretty fun to play, but the environments are lacking and leaves more to be desired. The characters are really hit or miss. You either love them or you don't care for them at all. The dungeon layouts are very bad. That's also included in the environmental thing. And don't get me wrong, I can get past that. Like, considering that, very older JRPGs have kind of similar dungeon layouts, and I could probably go still play those today. The problem is that when you deal with something that is similar but completely different at the same time, like, I'll call it the Persona 5 sickness. When you deal with a game that's such a good game as Persona, where it just breaks open everybody's minds and it makes you love Atlus as a company because they made such an amazing game, it tends to make you love whatever they're gonna drop. Like, I feel like I kind of fell into this without really knowing much about Soul Hackers. I just figured if it's another SMT game, I'ma love it because it's a good game. After playing SMT 5 and Persona 5, I've kind of had a appreciation. So for me, it's like it's a given that I'm gonna pick up this Atlus game, because it's coming out. It's coming to all these different systems. But let me tell you one of the main reasons why I decided to skip out on it. I decided to skip out on it because I heard they weren't releasing a Switch version. At least if they're releasing a Switch version, it won't come out at the same time as the other versions. And for me, that killed me. That was it for me. Obviously, I kind of phrased that a little bit wrong. I meant to basically say that the game is already out right now as me recording. It's been out for a couple days. But the fact that there's no Switch version on launch kind of killed it for me. Because when the game was announced, it was announced for Switch 2. And there are some general concerns about the game, as in people say that they feel like it's poorly made. It was made by Atlus's B team. It's not a very high budget game. Then I realized that basically they're going to be making Persona 5 for the Switch, or at least porting it over. So if you can get a game like that looks really good, that plays really good, if you can get a game like that is basically the high budget version of Atlus onto a Switch system, how in the world could you not get Soul Hackers to do the same? Now, me personally, I think it's a little bit of like marketing strategy. They probably want to release the Switch version. They'll probably come out with a definitive edition of Soul Hackers and then maybe release the Switch version a little bit later with all the DLC and such. Speaking of DLC, let's hop on there for a second. That's also a big reason why I skipped this game in particular. I did not know that Atlus had these practices, because when I would look at a game, I would always kind of see it after the fact. I never really caught a lot of games on launch day. Even Persona 5 I didn't catch on launch day. I ended up getting it a little bit after. I did technically get SMT 5 on launch day, but I really didn't notice much of the DLC. They basically released day one DLC that's supposed to be attached to the game that they literally cut out of the game to sell you an extra $9. It's absolutely ridiculous. The problem with DLC content is that the problem with early DLC content, like DLC content that's literally first day, is that you can't possibly tell me that this wasn't cut out of the main game and just used as a cash grab. It's like either way you look at it, either way you slice it, it looks like a cash grab. There may be one instance where I feel like it's maybe not a cash grab and it has to do with some serious licensing issues. It's Shin Megami Nocturne. In the original game, they had Dante as a guest appearance. And so in order for him to reprise that role, with certain licensing contracts, with them re-releasing the game and adding voice acting and stuff, they kind of probably had to pay that off. So instead of like keeping him as the game as is, they decided to kind of upgrade him, but instead you have to pay for like the DLC. But there is the problem though, Soul Hackers has a $9 first day DLC, and to be honest, it's just looking like, why? Now, if I'm being truthfully honest with you guys, I might end up getting it. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys here. I might end up still getting it. I need a game that's gonna kind of knock away a couple of my time for like a couple days. I need a specific game that's gonna help me do that. So I'm not saying I'm rolling it out for good. I just didn't get it on launch, and I don't see myself getting it for the foreseeable future. Maybe like wait for a sale or such. Another quick little thing that's not really something I could really mention here, that is more of a pet peeve. It's only like a 40-50 hour game. I heard the story is really, really good, and for me, I don't necessarily need a game to drag on to 70, 80, 90 hours, but maybe just a little bit bulkier in the hours for me. Especially when you're playing a game like that, I would love to have a game that goes over 100 hours of content. But with that being said, guys, let me know why you played or bought Soul Hackers 2, and let me know why you decided to skip it if you did skip it. And I'll see you guys next video.
やれやれだぜ。